Hey, welcome to Polynomics. I'm Paul AB. As part of my reading from the Competitive Africa series, this recording hopes to shed light on the critical factors of globalization and technology in Africa's drive for industrial advance. From chapter 5 of the book, entitled Africa's Industrial Advance, How Far Away, I treat exhaustively both industrial and trade policies with a view to making the vitally important point that Africa should no longer rely on the comparative advantage theory in its economic interactions at the global marketplace. As the roots of global integration grow deeper and wider, and as the intensity with which technology is applied to production increases, so do the inherent advantages expected to accrue to Africa via the comparative advantage theory get farther away and out of reach. And since technology is the single most important determining factor in globalization, and since its underlying aim is competition, and since competition is at the heart of free market economics, it then becomes obvious that to make the most of globalization requires deep orientation towards free market thinking. But given the peculiar challenges to Africa's industrial advance, it is my considered take that the continent needs a subtle combination of industrial policies and free market principles. These, I believe, is a most important observation, and a couple of paragraphs from the chapter will help to do justice to this considered take of mine. And so I turn to the first paragraph in the chapter for that most important reading. Africa's struggle against underdevelopment has been energy consuming and the outcome frustrating. Having tried out all options with little or nothing to show for it, it is time Africans kept an open mind on all possible routes to development. Although free market capitalistic orientation has become the accepted economic system, it should accommodate the meshing of best features of other systems, ideas, concepts, and orientations with the market economy. Creating a competitive economy critical to a vibrant and fast-paced economic advance requires targeted industrial push, that is, industrial policy, to be shielded from furious and neck-breaking competition from the advanced industrial world, that is, infant protection. All of this will amount to very little if the resultant competitiveness is not hinged on the economy being able within a specified time to stand on its own, slug it out in the global competitive arena, and ultimately emerge not only as a survivor, but also as a champion. And that's outward looking. It is my deeply held conviction that free market industrialization has all the prospects of delivering industrial advance in Africa if the process begins with industrialization via industrial development policies. That's the first paragraph, and so let's get to the second paragraph to justify this all-important observation of mine. In a world of specialization, a country's place in the international arena is determined by what it does with what it has. But Africa's economic interaction in the global marketplace takes for granted comparative advantage principles, and in rare cases relied too much on them to the detriment in the face of globalization and technology, thereby denying these countries of the benefits. When the extraction and exportation of Africa's raw materials are in the hands of multinational corporations and export earnings are largely tied to royalties, it completely undermines the theory of factory endowments. Across Africa, countries rely well over 90% of their export earnings from natural and mineral resources, such that identifying their place in the international economic arrangement becomes a hard nut to crack. For Africa to have an engagement with the advanced world on relatively equal terms, its economies must first be established on the intellect of its people. In other words, a host of comparative advantages would have to be replaced with competitive advantages for global economic interactions to benefit Africa.